Hi everyone, my name is Donnie Lowy from Closeout Hope you're doing well today. Today I'd like to talk to you about how to get department store clothing in bulk. Department stores are a great source of wholesale clothing in bulk, and the reason is because department stores buy so much merchandise because they have so many customers, they have so much space, they have so many stores, different units in their department store chain, that they always need to bring in new merchandise. And something very interesting about department stores is that they will buy extra merchandise that they know they're going to sell because they just want to make sure that they have enough merchandise when customers come in. The department store always looks full. The fastest way for a department store to lose customers is by having a bare department stores, by not having a full-looking department store. So what department stores will do is, let's say they expect to sell 200 pieces of clothing in a day, right? But for that day, for the average day, they will have 250 pieces of clothing. So what do? They just increase their margins enough that they're going to make enough money on the 200 pieces of clothing to cover the extra 50 pieces that they're not going to sell. And then what the department stores do is they'll sell that bulk clothing, that extra clothing. First of all, they'll sell it at a clearance price. They'll send out coupons. They'll advertise in local newspapers. And then ultimately, whatever they can sell, they're going to sell to wholesale businesses, such as my business, Closeout or other wholesale businesses out there. Now, if you want to get clothing in bulk from department stores, you have two options. One option is you can contact the department store directly. You might be able to set up an arrangement with them. They might already have someone they're dealing with. They might have an exclusive relationship or a non-exclusive relationship, but they might already feel comfortable with the people that they're dealing with. So it always makes sense, to try, but the challenge is that when you buy bulk clothing from a department store, you're going to get a very large lot of clothing, and the clothing is going to be very assorted. So for instance, let's say in a pallet of dresses and suits, when I receive the department store overstock pallets with dresses and suits, I will have dresses, skirts, blouses, pants, complete suits. Could be some accessories in it. So if a customer has a store and their store only carries dresses, they're not going to want to buy an assorted pallet. Or if a customer doesn't have anyone to sell blouses to, or they just want to sell blouses, then they're not going to want to get a pallet that has an assortment of different clothing. So this is something you need to keep in mind. What I would recommend to you is buy a pallet only if you can sell an assortment of different clothing. Another challenge with getting department store clothing in bulk is that the sizes are going to be all assorted, different styles, different brands. So if you have a customer that just wants Calvin Klein dresses, you're going to have other dresses that are not Calvin Klein, so you're going to need to figure out what to do with them. Now, I do want to encourage you, because there are plenty of reasons why you should buy a pallet of assorted clothing. First of all, if you get a good enough price, you can find customers for the other clothing. If a customer wants to buy dresses, chances are that customer will also be in the market for blouses. If a customer buys suits, they're also going to be in the market for suit separates. Not because you're going to need skirts, pants, they might want to mix and match and make their own suits, or they might not, so you do need to know your customer. Now, when buying clothing in bulk from department stores, keep in mind, as we said, it's going to be an assortment of brands, assortment of styles, assortment of brands. And it's very important to see what are you paying, what percentage are you paying of the original retail. And the reason I say that is for the following reason. Let's say you have a store that's located relatively close to a department store. So you have to keep in mind that a department store can have sales for as much as 50 or 75% off the original retail. So you need to buy the clothing at, I would say at minimum, at 50% below the original retail. Now, a department store is not going to always have sales, and they're not going to always mark down everything at 50 to 75% off. They might mark down their clearance items at 75% off. Having said that, so you still want to get the clothing at least 50% off below the retail. This way, you have room to sell your clothing at a profit, but have the clothing heavily discounted. When you buy overstock pallets from my warehouse, I sell the clothing for as low as 10% of the original retail, and some of the items actually end up selling at 5% of the original retail. So the lower the price you get, of course, is going to be better for you, but at the same time, the key is you need to have merchandise. So don't wait for the perfect deal, meaning don't wait for the lowest possible price, because then you're going to lose customers, right? The department stores, they don't wait. They always bring in new merchandise. So as a retailer, whether you sell online or offline, you always want to bring in new merchandise to keep your customers coming back to your store. Or if you're selling on eBay, you want to keep the customers looking at your eBay listings. You want them to keep checking out your eBay store. If you sell at a flea market, you want to attract people to your flea market booth. You want them to know that you always have new merchandise available. Alright, so the next time you're in New York, you're welcome to visit my warehouse. My website is closeoutexplosion.com. Thank you and have a great day.